So do you get sudden awarenesses or just a knowing inside of yourself? Or possibly when you're out and about, you pick up on other people's emotions or feelings, or you go into a space and you feel overwhelmed by the crowds and the people. If that's the case, then you might be intuitive, empathic, or highly sensitive, or all three. And in today's video, I'm going to go into the subtle differences between them, but they are all in kind of overlapping and interchanging with each other as well. But as you get to know these differences, you'll stop doubting yourself and step into and start really having confidence and clarity in your own superpowers. So thank you for joining me. I'm AmyC with You Finding You. I'm an intuitive and transformational coach. And currently, if you look in the dialog box below, there is a freebie that you can snag up, which is to help you maintain your energies as an empath, as a highly sensitive, and be able to clear, maintain, and live a certain way where you are aware of your skills and your abilities and you're able to maintain them. So again, do check that out. That's in the dialog box below. So being empathic or intuitive or highly sensitive, I know over the years I've always felt like maybe I was weak or I was fragile or I would even be looked at that way. And I never really understood for so long why I would go home exhausted and drained from events or going into crowds. And it was over time that I then started to realize that it's like, oh, these are just skills and abilities that I have. And I then started to learn to maintain it for myself or to become aware of this is how I feel in certain spaces, or this is what's going on, and I could then read and interpret it. But growing up, it was kind of like, oh, you don't want to actually have these skills. But what I see now is we're going into a new age, we're going into a new place, and we're the leaders. The ones that have these skills are going to be able to move forward in a certain way, and it's going to be connecting into ourselves and into these skills within us. So I really do feel that these are superpowers, and I say superpowers, it's like a sixth sense, you know, like we have this sense within us, and as we tap into it, then we're able to move forward into this new way of being that we're stepping into. So I'll go ahead and jump into what are these subtle differences between being highly sensitive, empathic, and intuitive. So a highly sensitive has heightened senses where your senses will pick up on more, but also deeper processing. So you will feel deeper into yourself. And what I mean by this is that you go into a crowded space and you feel more overwhelmed, or you're overwhelmed by the lights. And again, this is your senses. And picking up on or noticing when you're in chaotic environments, it's too much stimulus coming at you. But then as well, you process things deeper. So you might be more moved by art or beauty or music, and or you'll pick up on the moods of others around you and notice that. And as well, you then need more time to process and downtime after being overstimulated like this. But then what's the difference of that to empathy? Because empaths also pick up on the emotions. And from what I've been seeing or researching, it's that someone that is highly sensitive will notice and feel the emotions and moods, but they're not taking it on. And that is the difference then of an empath, where an empath is more like a sponge. So someone that will take on or feel, so we will notice and feel the energies or emotions or even sometimes physical symptoms of someone else, and we feel it within us. So you can ask yourself this question of, is this mine or is this theirs? And if you know distinctly that this is not your emotions, then you're highly sensitive. Like you'll notice and feel emotions of others, but not take it on. Whereas an empath, you might get confused and be like, I'm not really sure. Like you take it on as it is your own, but it's actually coming from people and the environment that you're in around you. And similar to the highly sensitive, the empath will also need that time after being in crowded spaces or around people that you're taking on these energies and these emotions, that you'll need the time to decompress. You'll feel drained afterwards. So you'll need as well that time to get back to feeling normal in yourself again. And most empaths are highly sensitive, but not all highly sensitive are empaths. So again, it's the highly sensitive then that is possibly not taking on these energies. And you can actually build up the skills to set boundaries so that you're not building up or taking on these energies. And so that you can still be sensitive and noticing, but not taking it on so much. And like I mentioned before, asking the question of, is this mine? Getting confused by taking on other people's energies and their emotions. It's like, is this really my energy? You can then start to set up these boundaries. And that's again where if you snag up that freebie, you can start maintaining and really developing this space where you're not always just taking it on from others. But as well, with this being an empath, we're going into then what is intuitive. And many empaths, many highly sensitives are intuitive, but you might not trust all the skills and the abilities, the knowings that is coming through. And so it just takes a little bit of developing that to then start to get these knowings. So who is or what is an intuitive then? An intuitive is someone that is receiving information, like insights, clarity, information coming through, and they might not possibly know how or where it's coming from, but they are picking up on these senses within them and these insights that come through. And so it's someone that might have these gut feelings or feelings inside of us of like, oh, this doesn't feel good or this does feel good, and listening to those insights and those knowings. So it could be something like you meet someone and right away you feel off about this. So again, it's picking up on these very subtle energies and sensations and just trusting and knowing what that means for you. And so an intuitive then can be empathic, can be highly sensitive, and a lot of times they are. And so they have these very subtle ways that they have learned or picked up on sensing this unseen world around them, the energies, the emotions, what's going on, and able to pick up on it again with their senses, their clair senses. And they also then trust these knowings that come through. So you could be empathic, you could be highly sensitive, but maybe not listening to certain cues or things that come through. And so you're not really fully listening to those intuitive hits that come in. And here's a little further breakdown of the highly sensitive, empath, and intuitive, using these little metaphors or using these little ways of looking at it. So a highly sensitive will be someone that will pick up on like the subtle things, the smell of the flowers, you know, it's this overstimulation that they will notice, or songbirds, you know, like hearing these different things from the distance, they'll notice it. An empath will feel the emotions and feel the things coming at them. And then the intuitive will just know. They'll have an internal knowing, like they know which way to turn or which way to go. So again, that's a kind of a smaller breakdown because all of them also overlap in certain ways, but that can help you distinguish a little bit of the differences between them. So again, each of these do coexist, they do mix in between, and you'll notice subtle similarities and in between all of them. But knowing the subtle differences can help you really distinguish and see, where are you in this place? And I know for myself too, like when I was mentioning that highly sensitives, there are those that don't take on the energies. I'm like, really? Are there people like that? Because for me, I do tend to take on energies from other people, and I can't imagine, like, oh, what is that like to actually not be taking on these energies? So being aware of this can help you be in a place of like, oh, this is what I am doing. And I don't see it as a weakness, but a superpower. I really am picking up on and sensing these things and becoming very aware of the surroundings. And as I take that knowledge, those things that I'm picking up on, and I use it with my intuition, and I start really tapping into, it's like, again, it's having this sixth sense where I know and I feel I'm being more guided from the inside. I don't have to look outside of me for all these answers, but I'm really being guided from within. So it's really tapping into and using my skills, using my abilities, and really bringing it out for me and loving that I get to be this. And the more you understand how you're wired, the more you can be aligned, live aligned within you, more clear inside of you, and really fully live yourself and being you. So thank you guys for joining me today. If you are enjoying and getting value out of these videos, do hit that like, share, and subscribe. And thank you again. I'll see you in the next video.